A walk among the stars, the monsters, the paranormal, and supernatural. Join your tour guides, Justin and Josh, on this cryptic journey through life and beyond. What you may not know is you've been on this journey for a long time, and you finally arrived. Join us and our cult by subscribing to this podcast and giving us a generous 5-star rating. With doing so, your soul will be set and the afterlife defined. Welcome to It's Cryptic Out There.
Well, why did you develop the plan to kill?
We developed... Okay. I thought that it was just about proving that this fictional character existed. But I have no idea what Morgan's motivations were. I thought it was just about proving that something most people thought wasn't real was.
So this is, and who are you talking about?
The character?
Right.
Slender Man.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Cryptic Out There podcast. I am your host, Justin, alongside my co-host, Josh. What's up?
What's up, my Jeepers Creepers?
Jeepers Creepers. You know, after the last podcast with Dylan, if you haven't checked that out, great conversation.
Oh my gosh.
About the Blair Witch Project, his movie parody to it, The Blair Witch Project. We got a glimpse of it. Tremendous. And you got a glimpse of it if you have seen the episode. There's a little clip of the movie. But after we recorded, I mentioned in the episode that Jeepers Creepers is one of my top 3 horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
He kind of crushed my perspective on the whole film in general because of the director being a pedophile.
Yeah. I actually looked into that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I wonder what they have to say about that. And man, is it true.
Dang.
Yeah, like it's
That's
crazy.
unfortunate.
Yeah, and then that Clown House movie, man.
God.
Like, that is crazy because that man basically got to live out a perverted, evil sexual fantasy on camera.
Right.
And even got caught videotaping himself with a kid during that movie.
God.
Like, geez, man.
Did he get away with it? I can't remember if you said that or not.
Yeah, but I think he got, like, no time in jail, and he's made movies since
Yeah,
then.
that's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
If you're a pedophile, fuck you.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you.
How could you be one of those?
I mean, you know, that's a deeper conversation.
Yeah, it is.
You know, a situation of events, obviously, you know, you're molded by your environment, and there's enough psychology that goes into why people do the things they do. Like 9 times out of 10, the reason people become pedophiles is because they were molested or raped themselves as a kid.
Right.
Which also, you know, like, that doesn't mean that you should go out and do that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think that there are mental illnesses that drive people to do it. I mean, like, when you look at Ted Bundy and shit like that. It's
Jeffrey
like,
Dahmer
yeah,
right now.
Like, obviously, that person was not okay.
No.
And they had stuff going on that led that's not a normal human being.
No.
You know, or what we classify as normal,
Yeah.
a functioning member of society. That's not who he was. And, like, how can you just tell someone, well, you just don't need to be like that?
Right.
Well, obviously, if he probably could, he wouldn't,
Right.
you know? But that's the overall
Yeah.
on it. And I think that's what happened with that guy.
Yeah.
Is he had created art, and they were just like, especially during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I think he'd be crucified. Look at R. Kelly.
Oh, yeah. No
You
doubt.
know, yeah. I don't listen to any R. Kelly
But
anymore.
what is your take? Like, the whole Jeffrey Dahmer series is like the thing right now. It's the
Yeah.
most watched show of all time.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of the top
On Netflix
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like it beat Squid Game, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And people are pretty much glorifying him on TikTok, dressing up as him, making jokes. I saw just yesterday people are dressing up for him for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just weird to me.
I saw that too, and I don't know if it's very weird to me, them dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer, because ultimately those people aren't cannibals.
That's true.
And I think when you look at some costumes, all right, if you dress up as Michael Myers,
Yeah.
it's like, well, obviously you're not Michael Myers, but you're dressing up because of how scary it is, not because, like, Halloween is the time I am not pro murder,
Right.
but I'm going to dress up as a murderer,
Yeah.
you know?
I think the borderline to that is,
The realism.
yeah, like
It
Michael
happened.
Myers is fake.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey Dahmer is
It's
real.
very real.
Don't get me wrong, like Evan Peters did a tremendous job in the show.
Yeah.
And some of the memes that people just make, like clips of him like doing the dance and everything or whatever, that is funny. But I don't know. It's strange to me, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I've only watched like the first 3 episodes, I think,
Right.
of it. Great watch, you know? But like that in the first episode, spoiler alert, you know,
Yeah.
you'll figure out when we're not.
I mean,
talking about it.
everybody in the whole world has seen it.
Yeah, that's true. If it is the most watched show of all time, it's your fault for not watching it.
Right.
At least the first episode.
Yeah.
But when I watched it and was looking at Wikipedia of that event, and it's almost to a T exactly how it happened. You know, and that was really fucked up to me,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was like, wow. And I don't know how you feel about this, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who get, and I think rightly so, they're upset when they glorify this. Someone is making money. Like, in Hollywood, or any business at all, you can get into it because you love it, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't give you profit, and that can't be your main source of
Yeah.
income, like, how much would we do with a podcast if it was the number one podcast on Spotify?
Right.
Past Joe Rogan.
Right.
We got paid $250 million
Yeah.
to do the podcast. Obviously, that's all we would ever do, because that is our job. That is our main source of income.
Yeah.
But for people to get on TikTok and stuff and be like, you know, what about the families of not just the Dahmer show, but one that I watched was About Pam on Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah.
The girl...
Something about Pam.
Yeah, something about Pam. One of the girls who were affected by that, she had like 4 TikToks of just telling, like, they make a joke of the worst moment of my life.
Yeah.
How this ruined my life in every possible way.
Right.
And it's a joke.
Yeah.
You know? And they're not seeing a fucking dime of it.
Right.
You know? Someone is profiting off of the pain and misery of others.
Just think, you know, the famous lines in the show that he says, like, want a party?
Yeah.
You want a beer? You want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
Some of the things that he said was the last thing that the victims heard.
Yeah, because they were...
And people,
drunk.
yeah, and people who on TikTok would, you know, say those things or whatever, just think of, like, the families, those words, how they affects them. you
Yeah.
know?
The scene where the kid escapes.
Yeah.
And then he's taking him back into his house with the police, and they're just like... It's like... He's like, it's just a bunch of hardcore gay stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to see that. And they were like, well, I just don't want to catch anything. Which is very 80s for AIDS
Yeah,
and everything. But...
Well, that's another thing about the show that they done so well is they didn't glorify Dahmer in the show.
Yeah.
That a lot of the time, a lot of the episodes, they put the perspective of like how police were back in the day, how black people were mistreated, gay people were
gosh,
mistreated,
yeah.
Asians were mistreated.
This man was a serial killer for black people.
Yeah.
And, like, that is what he hunted, you know?
Yeah.
And probably because he knew that no one cared.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's mentioned in the show, too.
Yeah.
But sorry for the rant, but I mean, this kind of somewhat correlates to the topic we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Slender Man.
Oh.
Who remembers Slender Man?
Huge when we were in high school.
When we were in high school, that was the thing.
Huge. Video games.
The video game was
CreepyPasta.
terrifying.
Yeah. The whole thing. Just a man in a white suit with no face.
Yep.
And everything. My buddy Patrick, who just had a baby.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Pat.
Congrats.
Love you. Love little Peyton. Love Dawn, too.
Yep.
Love you guys. But I lost my train of thought.
Slender Man.
Yeah,
Patrick.
yeah. He had one of those bodysuits of Slender Man, which was so funny. Because he's so tall.
Yeah.
It's like,
perfect
Yeah,
figure.
seriously. Yeah.
So, I guess this would be like a urban legend, paranormal, which it's obviously a creepypasta, like somebody came up with it. Mm-hmm. But then it gets so deep, like the lore of it gets very deep, and I will read off like the history of Slender Man, and it will lead to a reality, a disturbing story about some girls becoming obsessed with Slender Man and acting out on violence. Have you ever heard about that story?
The stabbing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Josh is going to read off the case right after I talk about the lore of
Give you
Slender Man.
the rundown of old Slendy.
Yes. So let me pull up Slender Man, also known as the Slender Man or Slender Man, is a supernatural creature with characteristics and abilities. Slender Man was first mentioned in Something Awful forums, Creature Paranormal Images. He generally appears in modern times as a tall humanoid creature in a black or gray suit. Don't know why. Why the suit? He looks fly though.
Well, I mean, you never know in business. Business can happen anywhere.
Taking care of business.
Yeah, business can happen anywhere.
Okay, black or gray suit, red or black tie. Red tie, interesting.
I've seen him with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And a white shirt. His face is totally white, completely devoid of facial features. He has no hair and generally has normal-looking bare hands. Fingers longer and bonier than the typical human. Slender Man has been depicted in imagery and literature as anywhere between 6 to 15 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine 15 feet?
That's a drastic difference in height.
6 and 15 feet tall. Okay. Depending on the situation. Though in video, he is usually only around 6 to 7 feet tall. Because of his inact nature and differences between accounts, no one has yet determined what exactly the Slender Man is. Currently, there are two leading theories as to what the Slender Man may be: the Tupla effect and quantum theory. The internet popularized the Slender Man has spawned a massive number of interconnected ARGs. What is the ARGs?
Arg.
If y'all know what it is, okay.
Yeah.
Collectively known as the Slender Man mythos. It's almost every description of the Slender Man has attributes will vary, sometimes greatly. However, his basic appearance and traits are relatively consistent across different accounts. His appearance has changed over the years, but the most common image and the most well-known in media is that an abnormally tall and long arms, totally blank face. Yeah, this is just the basic description that we just talked about. What were you going to say?
ARG is alternate reality game.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense now. Okay. He behaves in what might be seen as a passive-aggressive manner, often stalking targets for years at a time before ever attacking. It's understood that he tends to torture his targets mentally, overtaking periods of time, using fear and paranoia to drive them to insanity. That would be pretty gruesome, like just tiring.
Yeah.
No one has ever satisfactorily explained the reasoning behind his tactics or the way he chooses his victims, and his purposes and/or motivations have yet to be fully discovered. He is rarely, if ever, portrayed in a good or light manner, and is generally understood to be a malevolent force. He is a mystery. He looks like a human being, but doesn't act like one. It is uncertain if he is a social creature, understands human languages or behaviors, or even why humans appear to be his primary targets. It sometimes seems as if he is capable of possessing his targets in some cases. Slender Man's mere appearance provokes fear. This is partially due to his towering height and overall unnerving appearance, and partially due to his behavior, which is almost completely alien. Humans also find it extremely hard to describe the Slender Man. A description in words can be given, but often lack the ability to fully describe the creature. I don't know, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Tall guy, white face, fly-ass suit.
Honestly, any guy you might see on Wall Street.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, white guy in a suit.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Maybe played basketball in high school.
And then had a horrible finger injury.
Exactly.
Where they had to apparently lengthen his fingers longer than they needed to be.
Right.
He was at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and
Yeah.
fell into a taffy machine. And it stretched him out 15 feet. That's actually who Slender Man is. It's from Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
That's what it is.
So, he has abilities. Selective invisibility.
Nice.
The ability to change height and body shape. The ability to shape its arms into tentacles. That's freaking weird.
Yeah, actually, I think in the movie it shows that. And it's kind
Oh, really?
It's kind of creepy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the ability to sprout tentacle-like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
And its back and shoulders to be used as additional arms or legs.
Yeah, that happens.
So he's like turned into a spider.
Almost, man.
Yeah.
But in a suit. It's like a mannequin that's just going crazy.
Yeah. Many stories seem to indicate that the Slender Man can control a person's mind, which became the basis for the proxies in the video ARG, a trend that later spread to Slender blogs. The Slender Man also originally had strong connections to children, and many of the original stories revolved around disappearing children or featured Slender Man sightings and photos with children. This was often attributed to the innocence and morbid curiosity of children, which could lead them down the path of discovering the creature.
The creature.
As more stories came forth, however, the use of tentacles and tentacle-like, the arms, the shoulders,
Yeah, he's kind of...
became less common, and the invisibility was limited or eliminated depending on the storyteller. On the other hand, some stories took the invisibility even further and claimed it was entirely invisible without the use of electronic devices. Okay?
Wow.
So, it's basically somebody making up their own story.
Big creepy man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their perspective of Slender Man.
Yeah. Which, honestly, Slender Man sounds a lot like Jason
Yeah.
from, Friday the 13th.
Right.
That's what he sounds like. Or described as. At least.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned before the lore is super deep. The Slender Man has no specifically confirmed history, but contributors to the mythos have placed early sightings of Slender Man-like beings in Germany in the early 1600s and before. Historically, the entity often took on the appearance of a knight or a noble figure. Germanic myths and fairy tales have been cited as containing Slender Man-like creatures as cautionary tales for children. See, it always goes back to the child.
Yeah. Why is it? Why is it always children? Just because they're pure and innocent and I guess
so.
Easily corrupted?
Yeah.
Child doesn't know that it's
Evil.
Yeah, right.
Photographs from the early 1900s are the first confirmed reports, where images of the Slender Man can be found in old photographs. Reports from this time indicate sightings in America, UK, and Russia, usually connected to reports of child disappearances. All right.
It's like a sinister situation.
Yeah. It's one of the scariest movies of all time.
It really is, man. Quit taking these pedophiles. Quit taking these kids.
Yeah.
Start taking pedophiles. Yeah, gosh. What are you even going to get out of a kid anyway?
Nothing.
Yeah. Damn you, Slender Man.
If the victim was a child, he would often approach them in a friendly fashion.
Of course.
Like predators do. At first, and attempted to gain their trust, as predators do.
Yeah, I bet he rolls up in a van with candy on it.
Yeah. The adults he stalked have one common trait. They had all been through a terrible tragedy in their life, so they're vulnerable. Interestingly, in many cases, the tragedy was originally caused by a Slender Man as well. Okay, so he's been there all along.
Yeah. Man, like I said, you got to do business wherever. It really just sounds like, all right, I'll just keep this party going. I'll just only harm the people that, whoever does it.
If the victim was an adult, Slender Man would stalk the victim for long periods of time. This caused an illness that became known as slender sickness. Symptoms include massive paranoia, nausea, nosebleeds, nightmares, and hallucinations. Eventually, the Slender Man would abduct the victim, usually into a nearby forest, where they would be killed. In messy cases, Slender Man may remove evidence of its existence by burning the victim's home, place of work, or school, often causing the death of others in the line of destruction.
Jeez, he's reckless.
Generally, those close to the initial victim. I
think it's kind of funny. He's like, he does all this, kills them, and he's like, all right, I need to burn this motherfucker's house down. As if, like, nobody knows you exist.
Yeah.
I just have to burn your house
right
down
now. Going back to the relationship with children, always has some kind of odd connection to children. In the original mythos, its relationship with children is one of the most prominent traits. Though no one is exactly sure why, many theories exist as to why he targets children, including he wins over the confidence of children, but adults are repulsed by fear. This theory is one of few that paints Slender Man as a benign element. Why didn't I know that? Benign element.
Tired long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Suggesting that he actually seeks friendship of some kind and can only find in children. Also, he's a loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who, unlike children, he can get to trust them. He chooses children because he can take longer to nurture their fear, stalking them for years before attacking them as adults. It's kind of like it in a way.
Yeah.
He brainwashes children, using them to further his own unspecified ends as proxies. Children are simply easier for him to hunt.
What an asshole.
Yeah. Frequent locations, being found in a deserted location, often forests, where he can hunt without his victims being able to get help from other people or emergency services. Woodlands, he can easily blend with the trees, slender, tall, easily to confuse and terrify victims as they're in the forest. He's been encountered in graveyards, old houses, ghost towns, and abandoned mansions, where he lies in waiting behind the walls and doors to ambush his victims.
Of course.
He just stands there for hours and hours.
It seems like
That's even weirder.
Yeah. What does he think about?
children. I don't know.
That's where he's doing all of his business. He's
Right.
like, all right, next Thursday, I'm going to go after the Johnson kid. And then, oh my gosh, I can't do that Thursday.
He's got a schedule.
I got to burn down a school.
God.
Ugh.
Now, this section's called Trivia and Pop Culture. The Enderman creatures introduced into the game Minecraft during the Adventure update took some information, the typo, from the Slender Man, but act differently in that way, move blocks around with its freakishly long arms, and act similar to the Weeping Angels from the Doctor Who television series.
Yeah, if you look at it, it'll come at you.
Yeah. Endermans, those always scared the hell out of me playing Minecraft. Actions may also be based off a SCP-173 of the SCP Foundation series. Those are scary games.
Yeah.
And their appearance is similar to SCP-096. A lot of people don't know what this is.
It's like a game.
Yeah.
It's a CreepyPasta game, right?
It's like a CreepyPasta game where the government has captured these creatures, locked them up in like secure rooms or whatever.
Maximum.
Yeah.
Imagine whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Also, in the Doctor Who television series, the Season 6 creatures known as the Silents are visually quite similar to Slender Man with bald heads, pale skin, and suits. However, their faces have eyes and mouths, where Slender Man's face is entirely blank.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Smooth as a coconut.
Slender Man, by definition, violates the square cube law, as his volume does not necessarily increase in proportion to his body size. They get way too deep in this.
Yeah.
And his spatial occupation is very undetermined and variable. The gentlemen are demons in the 4th season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let me scroll through. Okay, Slender Man is the focus of the game Slender. A common misconception is that the game inspired the mythos, but this is incorrect. It is interesting to note that Slender Man is portrayed as male, a stark contrast to a majority of folk tales, legends, mythos, and urban tales, which often either depict demonic entities as female or as feral animals that are not classified by gender. This is likely a cause of the traditional masculine appearance of the creature in accounts. And I'm sure I'll be like posting photos if I have not already. But yeah, that's pretty much the backstory and lore of the legend of Slender Man.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of this episode, we talked about, children, like the pedo story.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it all connected.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah,
Sucks,
it
man.
does.
Why?
It
Why?
does.
Why, as molesting kids, you could go in so many. Like Harvey Weinstein. If you like any of his movies, it'll always be directed to. I don't know if he was a pedophile actually, but he was a rapist.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So it just goes to that. R. Kelly and his music, man.
Yeah.
It just goes to that. That's a real plague.
So talented, yeah.
Yeah, so talented, man. But
And say what you will about Michael Jackson, though, too. Like, if you're on the side of he didn't do it or he did do it.
that's what's crazy. He died in 2009. His court case was like so pre social media, man.
Yeah.
Until a movement could be created, and now it's like I think there was an HBO documentary about some of the kids or whatever who talk about it, but
A lot of it came out as bullshit, too. But still.
I was gonna say like it's he said
It's he said, she said.
yeah. Did he do it or did he not do
Yeah.
it? You'll never know.
Yeah.
And I think that's why his music still plays, and he still has that king of pop.
Right.
Everybody just kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Which it's not okay.
No.
If he did it.
Yeah. That's true.
You never know.
So, come back to children. There's no pedophilia, thank God.
Yeah, just, basically stalking them their entire lives, creating fear for them.
Right.
and then murdering them at some point.
Yeah. So you have the true story of these girls becoming obsessed with Slender Man, and Josh is going to read the whole shebang.
This is from the New York Times. A Wisconsin judge on Thursday. This article is from July 1st, last updated September 12th, 2021. A Wisconsin judge on Thursday ordered a 19-year-old woman released from a psychiatric hospital where she has been held for more than 3 years for her role in the nearly fatal stabbing of a friend. A crime, she said, was carried out to gain the favor of a sinister fictional character called Slender Man. The 2014 attack involving a pair of 12-year-old girls was from Waukesha, Wisconsin, who lured a 12-year-old friend to a park and stabbed her 19 times, shocked parents in the upper-middle-class suburb of Milwaukee.
Jesus.
In 2017, the woman, Anissa Wire, pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree intentional homicide and was sentenced to 25 years in the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. In March, she asked the court to release her from the institution. At a hearing on Thursday, Judge Michael O. Boren of Waukesha County Circuit Court granted Mrs. Wire's request, agreeing with recommendations from 3 doctors who evaluated her and said that she did not pose a threat to herself or others. But the judge ordered Mrs. Wire back to the institution while Wisconsin's officials create her release plan. Her next court date is scheduled for September 10th. A lawyer for Miss Wire did not respond to a telephone message seeking comment. At the hearing, Judge Boren acknowledged the gravity of the crime that Miss Wire and another friend, Morgan Geyser, committed in 2014 when they and the victim were all 6th graders at Horning Middle School in Waukesha.
What school?
When they and the victim were all 6th graders at Horning Middle School in Waukesha.
Just the name.
Yeah. There's an ing, not a y at the end of that.
Gotcha.
You slut.
I know.
It may still make people tremble because it was such a terrible thing to happen. The judge said not only just the physical assault, but that it happened among friends who were kids. In 2014, Miss Wire and Miss Geyser lured the victim, Peyton Leutner, into the woods where Mrs. Geyser stabbed her 19 times with a kitchen knife.
Jesus.
As Mrs. Weiser urged her on, Anissa told her to lie down so she wouldn't lose blood so quickly and told her to be quiet. Mrs. Geyser had testified, and we left. Mrs. Leutner managed to crawl out of the woods and find an adult. It took months for her to recover from her injuries, and doctors said one of the stab wounds came within a millimeter of hitting an artery, which would have killed her.
Oh my God.
After their arrests, Miss Wire and Miss Geyser said they stabbed Miss Leutner because they wanted to please Slender Man, a fictional character generally depicted as a tall, shadowy figure with a blank face. The girls said they believed that Slender Man was real and lived in a mansion in the woods in the northern Wisconsin, and that by killing Miss Leutner, they would become his proxies.
Okay, so like going back to talking about the lore, the mansions,
Yeah.
proxies.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In 2018, Miss Geyser was sentenced to 40 years in a psychiatric hospital. The origins of Slender Man, considered one of the internet's best-known urban legends, can be traced to 2009 when images were posted on an online forum devoted to fake paranormal pictures. Images of the character circulated online and the legend grew. Some depicted Slender Man with tentacles, others showed him with the powers of mind control. Other than her role in Miss Leutner's stabbing, Judge Bowen said on Thursday, Miss Wire had a clean mental health history, if you will. Currently, Miss Wire is functioning very well at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, the judge said, citing reports from doctors who had examined her. Miss Wire, who obtained her high school degree and plans to attend college, has told the court she plans to live with her father upon release and look for part-time work, the judge said. On Thursday evening, a woman who answered the telephone number listed for Miss Leutner declined to comment on Miss Wire's pending release. Crazy.
Just goes to show you how people can be so obsessed with something so fake.
Yeah.
Like, what got in their mind that he was actually real and that he told them to do such a horrific crime?
You know, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Jeffrey Dahmer and them. Like, I think in one article I read, when they pulled up, one of the girls just had no empathy over what she had done. And how can you, like, argue against someone who just has no morality about them? You know, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And it's like, I don't care. You know, they told her to lay down so she wouldn't lose blood.
Yeah.
You know, to be quiet.
What's your thoughts on them getting out?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
They stabbed her 19 times. I think the only reason they're getting out is because she didn't die.
Yeah.
You know, crimes immediately change when someone is killed.
Right.
So that's why, like, you see some people who are drunk drivers or something like that, like, they hold out. Like, and they're like, if he doesn't die, or if this person doesn't die, I won't get a harsher sentence.
Yeah.
You know, but
I just wonder if the victim is forever damaged in a way, like it's never the same.
I would say so if you
Yeah.
get stabbed 19 times.
19 times.
Yeah, I would say you are never the same ever
Shoot
again.
me instead.
Yeah, hey, 50 Cent said, many men wish death upon me, blood in my eyes, and dog, I can't see.
Damn.
Yeah, shot 9 times.
Lyrical genius.
Mm-hmm.
That really happened.
That really did happen, yeah.
It really did.
Actually, there's a football player who plays for the Washington football team who got shot in a carjacking, and he came out last week and played his first game. But where he got shot, it just went through the meat. Like, it didn't hit anything or a bone, so there wasn't a long recovery. And when he came out to the field, he played Many Men by 50 Cent.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
he's
I'm
going to
talking
be
about.
the starting running back next week. Or this week, actually, I think. Yeah, tonight against the Bears.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, or the night that we're recording this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah, for real.
And what a story that was. Slender Man.
Yeah.
I enjoy just the fakeness and the fun fictional story behind Slender Man. It really did creep me out in high school. The game, at least. The game I could not play.
Yeah, I'm not into those.
Yeah, we know.
I'm just not into paying to be afraid.
Have you watched Blair Witch yet?
So, I got on HBO, clicked on it, and was like, no. I can't do this.
You can do it.
There's a picture here that I guess you could maybe show up on
Yeah.
the screen, but that's the movie poster.
Okay,
And
yeah.
look at he's got like tentacle
Yeah, the
hands.
tentacle hands, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Joey King, I don't know if she's played in some stuff,
Okay.
but she's in that. It was an okay movie. I saw it in theaters. Had a budget of 10 to 28 million, which crazy.
Yeah.
An $18 million difference.
Right.
You know, in budget.
What was the box office?
51 million.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it
you know,
won pretty much.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You just got to win.
Yeah.
The movie is kind of, I think, maybe based off that. They summon the Slender Man. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Is it based on the actual story
I think it takes some,
elements?
yeah, because it says right here, the 3 discover that the girl who had been kidnapped was involved in an occult.
Interesting.
She was unhappy living alone with her alcoholic father.
The proxies.
So you know what? Instead of going to an adult and explaining her situation, she's gonna spawn a fucking demon.
God.
This is the only way.
God.
So, hey, if you want to watch it out there, you know, Justin
I'll give
and I,
it a watch.
yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Justin and I were talking about, or I was telling him about it, and it's not like the greatest movie of all time,
Yeah.
but movies are still good to watch.
Right. I watch the most shitty horror movies out there because I find it very comical, but also relatable
Yeah, yeah.
with how low budget it is. I think I spoke about that last episode. But yeah. That was Slender Man, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure
Slendy.
you've all have heard of it. If you haven't, then there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our older listeners, probably don't
Probably
don't
not.
know, but
Yeah.
anybody who graduated around 2014 or so,
Yeah.
almost 10 years ago.
You know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
you know what we're talking about.
And this is not going to be like Bloody Mary. We're not going to summon Slender Man.
Nah, I'm not.
Because God knows what will happen
Yeah,
with him.
I don't need him stalking my family for the rest of the...
Oh, God.
Yeah, that seems like that's what he does.
Your future child,
He
maybe.
gets one of you, he just continues to feed off
Destruction everywhere.
Yeah.
Leaves no trace of connection of you.
Yeah. We should, you got any horror movie recommendations? I think we should start that.
Okay.
If anybody's watched any horror movies.
Well, I obviously saw Terrifier 2 in theaters. It was... Let me tell you, dude. I've never seen a movie that crazy.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
like 2.5 hours long, right?
Yeah. For a horror slasher
That's
movie,
insane.
that's insane. Like, Julie and I went at 10:30 at night. We didn't get out till like 1 o'clock.
Shoot.
She was speechless the whole ride going back home. Just how traumatized she was from watching it. And there's some things. There's one scene that involves mashed potatoes.
Oh, no.
And I'm just going to leave it at that.
No.
So I highly recommend, I think his name's Damien Leone. He's the director, creator of Art the Clown and The Ninth Circle. That was his short film. That was the first appearance of Art the Clown. Then was All Hallows Eve, which I highly recommend that. I think that's actually more of a unsettling, scary jump scare movie. Then Terrifier came out, I think, in 2016, 2017, which was just like an all-out slasher kill fest. But then Terrifier 2, great storyline this time. Like, there wasn't much story in the first one. A lot of, like, unanswered questions in Terrifier. In Terrifier 2, they're answered with a great story, great final girl. But the kills are just... You won't forget it.
Yeah.
You will not forget it, I'm telling you.
I'm going to go see Halloween Ends Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see it,
Yeah.
especially in theaters. It's a big deal. Like, you know, Halloween is such a thing in our family.
Right.
I think a lot of us are going to go see it.
Yeah.
It's crazy that,
That's
you know,
awesome.
Yeah, like my parents.
It's a family event.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. I think it's me, my mom, my brother, my dad. I was going to go. I think my aunt and her 2 boys are going to go. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm hella excited.
I think it shows on Peacock.
Yeah.
We're going
I think
to...
tonight.
Tonight? Oh, yeah, that's
Maybe
right.
at midnight.
Maybe so.
Yeah, tomorrow is when.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Saturday.
Hell yeah. I'm going to see Post Malone this Saturday.
Hey.
Yeah.
Toasty.
But tomorrow we're gonna watch Halloween's on Peacock
Cool.
before we go to South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Such a long drive, Jesus Christ.
That is a long drive. But you get to see Post Malone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's cool.
And a dope ass Airbnb.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like a
Airbnb is so cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You get creative with it.
An Airbnb?
Yeah. More creative than a hotel.
Yeah, like you can create a little hobbit spot if you
Yeah.
want to.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, I've only seen like 45 minutes of Lord of the Rings, but that was enough for me.
I don't know how.
Because, I just ran out of time.
It does take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
What was the recommended movie that you wanted to... Was it Halloween?
Yeah, it's
okay.
No, it's a... Well, yeah, I'd go see that.
Yeah.
I think those are good. But there's an Adam Sandler movie
Okay.
called Hubie Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best Halloween movies that's ever been made.
It's a great...
I think,
Adam
honestly,
Sandler.
that's one of his funniest movies.
Really?
I've watched that movie like 10 times.
Oh, my God.
It's just funny, dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's so, like you just, like, in-your-face kind of comedy.
Yeah, it's slapstick.
You know? Yeah, slapstick comedy. Some of the, like, the timing, you know, it's a lot of, like, I think sometimes overacting, which is really funny.
Yeah.
All-star cast.
Yeah.
All-star cast.
It's intentional, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's an Adam Sandler. A lot of
Yeah.
people bash Adam Sandler. I don't know why. That comedy, to me, is the funniest.
I think it's more of a family comedy, too. I don't
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of
No.
cursing or anything.
Yeah, I
in
think
it.
it's like a family-friendly
Yeah, but it's
comedy.
so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. When they yell Frankenstein.
I can't remember. I remember when I watched it when it first came out on Netflix.
So if you're like me and you're afraid of everything, watch Hubie Halloween.
There's Rob Zombie's The Monsters. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's Rob Zombie's first family-friendly movie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's getting bashed, of course, but I mean...
Yeah. People were like, what do you mean? I like maggots and metal.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
that, and they're like, oh, this is too cheesy. It's not like the original, but like apparently The Monsters was super cheesy back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure he paid great homage to it. And I think I read where he wanted it to be in black and white, but whoever is over,
Yeah.
all that, they were like, no, it needs to be color. So he like made it all contrast and poppy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those colors are what you really want to pop.
Yeah, true.
I
I still need to watch that. I've been wanting to watch that because I love
that-
Rob Zombie.
What's it out on?
Netflix.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Give it a watch. Shout out to you, Rob Zombie.
Shout out.
Yeah. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, one of my favorite movies of all time. And, like, I don't even know how that's a horror movie.
Devil's Rejects?
Yeah.
It's very gruesome crime, true crime, not true crime, but like a
Like
thriller.
crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. I just think more so of...
I guess the brutality to it makes it kind of more horror.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Rob Zombie name. I don't know. So this month has been very fun.
Yeah.
Like
Cryptic Oktoberfest.
at Cryptic Oktoberfest. It's been fun. Like the conversations have been mostly lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like
honestly,
this one.
our episode we did with Dylan, where
Yeah.
we go through, like, talking about his project is great, but we spend a bunch of time just talking about horror movies.
Yeah.
And as much as I talk about being afraid of them, I've watched a lot of horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that I gotta be in the right mood.
Right.
It has to be daytime.
Mm-hmm.
There are times that I watch horror movies at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all of them are in bed.
Yeah.
Michael Myers has gone to sleep.
Right.
He is done for the night. Yeah.
I watch horror movies every day. Or something creepy every day. I'm just a weirdo, dude.
Hey, a movie that I think is really good that people would like, that I don't know if it's scary, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's got some good tension building in it.
The build-up is
Yeah.
unexpected, but like a good build-up.
It is not like every other Quentin Tarantino movie,
Right.
where a lot of the action is in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think of like Reservoir Dogs, Django Unchained,
Django.
Pulp
jeez.
Fiction.
Yeah.
There's kind of action that takes you all the way through it, but there's so much. Like, I think you're waiting so much for that.
You're waiting for a Tarantino moment.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, you're like, oh!
Yeah, I remember sitting there in the theater
Yeah.
when we got to that moment, and I was like, I looked over at the person I was seeing this with. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Brad Pitt better not die.
Oh, man.
He kicked ass.
Yeah, and he's smoked that acid-laced cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Leo with the
Flamethrower?
flamethrower, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody should watch that.
Yeah.
That's good. It is slow burn.
Yeah.
The
it
slowest
is.
of burn.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
It pays off.
Oh,
I
yeah, it's
think,
worth
for
it.
sure.
Literally, I think it's over 2 hours, right?
Yeah, I think it's like almost 3.
Yeah. Like, all that makes up, like, 2.5 for almost 3 hour movie.
I mean, it's a great story, though.
The last, like, 20 minutes of it makes up for everything.
Yeah.
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 And there's criticisms with it, and you can criticize everything, but that's a really good movie.
Yeah. This month's been lighthearted, like we said. We enjoyed like just the light conversations or whatever. This episode, I mean, we talked about Slender Man, but also like very dark, gruesome case or whatever.
We did a little bit of both of what we do: the
Yeah.
paranormal, supernatural, and the true crime.
Yeah, but thankfully, the victim lived in this one.
Yeah, after just being stabbed 19 times. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But next week, the next episode will be the final episode of October of Cryptic Oktoberfest. It will be released the day before Halloween, so like a Halloween Eve night.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it'll be Halloween the next day if you didn't catch the premiere of it. We got an interesting episode
Yeah.
coming up. I don't know how to tease it in a way, possessed items, I guess. That could be the tease. And there's going to be a special element to the episode. It's going to be very interesting, and we're also going to dress up.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, we talked about before dressing up every episode, but I mean, Jesus Christ, that'd be a lot of money.
Yeah, and I was like, how many costumes could I do every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could have done it, but I mean...
Money.
the green.
We are not the number one podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, no.
We're not JRE, man.
No. But
That's
we are
fine,
going to
man.
dress up. I'm going to look ridiculous. I don't know what Josh is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be fun, but also it's going to be a little weird.
Yeah, a little weird.
It's going to get cryptic up in here.
I'm excited.
Me too. I'm kind of scared, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You probably should be. Yeah. The freaks come out at night. That's it.
Right. So if you like the episode, if you like the show, 5-star on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a review, subscribe. If you're watching it on YouTube, like and subscribe on YouTube, share it.
5 stars.
5 stars
give
on the
us
dead
a-
hand,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. That'd be appreciative.
Absolutely. Leave a review. Tell us what your thoughts are on the show, suggestions. If you have suggestions, or just want to do a shout out and tell us what you think about the show, we have a Cryptic hotline, 540-358-1583. Our socials are in the description down below of the episode. I won't have to name all that because it's just there.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. But yeah, that's all we got for this episode.
Yeah.
You got anything, Josh? Oh, we also got like a special announcement coming up on the last episode too.
Yeah.
Special.
Pretty
Forgot about that.
excited about that.
Yeah.
That is going to be awesome.
That's going to be a big one too.
Been working on that it's been in a big planning stage for a while
Yeah.
now, and then
Almost over a month. maybe.
yeah, of just thinking about it, and
Brainstorming,
yeah, now to
planning.
yeah,
Yeah.
now we're about to get our
We're about to
hands.
get wild up in here.
Oh yeah, going on this cryptic adventure with you,
Right.
you creepy little fools.
Creepers.
Yeah, our culties, the good cult.
So next episode, there's going to be, the topic would be possessed objects, of course. Paranormal objects. We'll have something special for that episode, and then also a special announcement for, future endeavors,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, we are like
We're getting busy.
Yeah, we're getting busy.
Getting
We
busy.
we love this. We love this so much. We felt
Yeah,
like
dude.
October was our month,
Yeah,
that
dude.
to do this, and wouldn't be anywhere without you guys. So
Absolutely.
thanks.
Yeah, thank
Send
you.
us your Halloween costumes.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. On Halloween or whenever you guys do it, because I'm sure people will probably not go out Monday. They might. I mean, I guess they probably will.
Yeah.
But
Might do Sunday and Monday.
yeah, there's probably like some trunk or treats and stuff over
Yeah.
the weekend and all that jazz. So send us your Halloween costumes.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's see what you guys are dressing up as.
Well, I guess that's the end of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Josh, thanks for being on once again, being my
course.
partner in
Yeah,
crime.
love this. You
Yeah,
know?
dude.
I like how you say thanks for being on again.
I know. I'm just like, you're here.
I've been here for how many
Yeah.
episodes now?
I don't know why I said it.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here again, as if I'm just been replaced.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not the
like-
same Josh.
Right.
It's just a different me every time.
right. Hopefully that's no foreshadowing.
I'm like one of those, like those Russian dolls where you just open them and there's
another one.
yeah, another one.
Yeah.
That's me.
Right.
There's just I'm gonna leave here and just molt
Yeah.
and become a new thing.
Open you up. back
Can't
again.
wait for next week.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And lastly, watch your back. It's Cryptic Out There.
Bye.